Very good afternoon to you all, wherever you're watching us from, whether you're streaming online across the world or you're watching us in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, all the way up to South Africa. Leo tunauza vitu nyingi sana kwa studio. Kwanza tunauza viatu, number 2 tunauza sera, and looking at after 100 days in office, what has the new federation been able to achieve? What is the roadmap, and where are we heading as far as that is concerned? We'll give you very little in terms of the images. We'll play the games that have been there over the weekend, but we'll have a lot of discussion in studio. I'm here with the FKF president, Mr. Nick Mwendwa. He likes calling himself Nick Mwendwa, no president. But you're getting used to the president.
No president, no president. It's a small P president. Okay. I see, Mike, that you've joined me in the Sweater Club. Welcome.
I was told you must join them.
Welcome.
Yes.
It's a good place to be. When you don't have a tie on you, it's better. Wahiga is constrained. Yes.
Wahiga, over to you.
Mr. President, tushanirushia mababs hivi. Well, of course, the show is Monday Football. The hashtag is Monday Football. You can talk to us on Twitter using that hashtag. Mike will be going through the questions. Or 22422, I'll also be reading your feedback on that in regards to the Football Kenya Federation. They were voted in, I believe, on the 10th of February, Mr. President.
Yeah.
So the 10th of May should have been there, give or take about 100 days or so. So how do you think they performed? Give us your rating. Where do you think they've done well? And where do you think there's room for improvement? And we'll ask Mr. President all these questions. But next to me, I'm joined by our DJ of the day. Every Monday we switch and have a different DJ. Today is DJ Atalanta. And we'll also be talking with him a little bit about his skill, where he picked it up, what kind of music he likes, and whether he watches football or not as well, and his special style of mixing. And I'll be able to talk to you a bit more about that even as we continue. And as we mentioned, we are doing a lot of sales in studio today. Mike was talking about selling shoes, selling sweaters, not sweaters, socks. Hey, these are my essence. Mr. President, amenichanganya hapo. Socks as well and all that. We're joined by Gaspar Athumani. And he'll also be telling us about where you get these, whether to know what's original and what's not. If you have a son or daughter whose feet are growing, what kind of shoes should you take? And all that as well. So, and how much would these things really cost you? Those are some of the things we'll be discussing. Keep talking to us. The hashtag is Monday Football. Let's get straight into the show and take a look at what happened over the weekend. Now, Captain Victor Wanyama converted a penalty to secure Kenya a 1-1 draw against Tanzania in an international friendly match played at the Safaricom Kasarani Stadium yesterday afternoon. Now, Tanzania had opened the score through Elias Murogao early in the first half before the English Premier League side Southampton FC midfielder salvaged his nation's pride by striking back before the break. Kenya now prepared to host Sudan tomorrow evening in a match that was supposed to take place on Friday but was postponed on request of the visiting team.
Game of course imekuwa sawa pande yangu, but still nilikuwa na need win, but kulingana venye tulicheza game mbili za mwisho, of course Guinea Bissau away na hapa tukapata 0 points. So leo nilikuwa na inaweza kwa tough of course kwa players wetu. Sometimes kuna hiyo pressure that hatuja win na tuna need to win. So when there is that pressure, unapata labda wanafanya mistake in front ya post.
Nafikiria leo tumejaribu kupatia na yenye tunaweza kuwa nao, but imekuwa pia ngumu sababu wengine wetu najua tumekuwa na season refu, so imekuwa ni game ngumu.
Tumekuja Nairobi kwa ajili ya kuangalia ile strength yetu. The way ambavyo nimeangalia ni kwamba bado tunahitaji tuongeze effort katika kufanya finishing.
Well, we carry on with some of the big stories making headlines over the last 1 week. And Kenyan Premier League giants, that's Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards, were each docked 3 points on Thursday after the Independent Disciplinary and Complaints Committee, the IDCC, found the clubs guilty of failing to control their fans during league matches earlier this season. However, in a quick rejoinder, officials of the two popular teams have strongly disputed the ruling and vowed to challenge it within the various sports conflict resolution bodies. Leopards are on the spot for allowing their fans and stewards access to the pitch, causing trouble and consequent abandonment of their match against Ulinzi Stars. That's what you're seeing on your screen. And for Gor Mahia, this was against Tusker at the Nyao Stadium on the 16th of April, a contest the defending champions lost 1-0. Consequently, because of being docked 3 points each, Gor have dropped from the pinnacle of the table to 4th position with 26 points, as AFC are now in 11th position with 17 points.
A little bit of an uncomfortable situation on the field. Some of the stewards now would like to get into the field of play. And then the other stewards as well come out to be able to arrest the situation.
So just wondering, isn't that a steward's vest?
I don't know what this...
Right, two of the big stories over the last 1 week, and of course there will be major talking points as Mike hosts the FKF President. Mike Okini, over to you.
Thank you, Wahiga. My first question, Mr. President. Barely a few weeks after FKF said, this is what we will do. Bring your fans, let them misbehave, we shall deal with them properly. 8 weeks after the incident between involving AFC Leopards and Gor Mahia, IDCC docks them 3 points each. Good move, very good move, but everybody is asking, why did it have to take 8 weeks for that decision to come up?
Now, let me just give a background to this quickly. Like, is that we have a problem with hooliganism. Everybody accepts that. Most people who watch the game, they know we need to get rid of it. Now, there are structures that we found, and we have made some improvements on those structures. By doing what? By looking at the policy in place about hooliganism and trying to improve that. Now, when we change the rules, we say that if you cause abandonment with this kind of actions just seen, then you'll be docked 6 points, and we give certain layers of repeat offenders and what will happen.
Yes.
Now, those rules, if you remember, and I saw your tweet, started that day onwards.
Yes.
But in 2014, there were rules that were passed, Mike.
Meeting of the clubs in Naivasha.
Yes, there were rules that were passed, and in those rules it said that if you have this kind of incident, your penalty will be 3 points, docking. However, they could never do it because the federation in place was not in sync with KPL. Now, when we went out and took this measures and said we are changing policy, then the IDCC sat belatedly, and this issue was taken up with them, and they made a ruling, and those ruling is what has come out now. Now, the first instance body is IDCC at KPL.
Yes.
That body might make its ruling.
It's independent of KPL, or it's from KPL itself?
It's an independent body created by KPL, and we gave them the power that the first things that happen in the game, they deal with them. They have done so. They have put in a ruling. We're not happy with the timing. We're discussing that so it improves in future, but we have a ruling now. The ruling has come, and both clubs have expressed that they're not happy with it. And that is why then we are a federation, because when you're not happy with it, what do? You appeal now to our appeals body, and Gor Mahia, I can tell you for a certain, have appealed. They made the payment and have appealed. Our job is not to tell these committees what to do. It's to pass the framework within which they will make their decision. Now we have passed the framework. It is upon the appeals body to make a decision on the merit or no merit. If they say the 3 points are not proper, then they will proceed. If they say they're proper, then they should say. The important thing is to have structures in place for dealing with this matter.
Now, moving forward, it will no longer be a case of, is IDCC briefed that from the stakeholders meeting that happened last month, it's no longer 3 points, but you start at 6 points?
It is actually an update of the rules. There is a rule book which has been now updated with the rules we put in place. That has been sent to them. It's been updated, so they are well aware now. It's no longer 3 points, repeat offenders, they know that. But they were making decisions based on what was there before. But they know the rules that we have brought in place. It is now upon them and not the federation. Remember, it is not upon the NEC or the FKF president to make this decision. It is upon those committees, and we cannot interfere. Our job is to pass the framework. It is their job then to make the decision. So we stay independent of that process.
As we close down on the hooliganism issue, many things were discussed, including training of stewards. They will be handled by KPL and so on and so forth. On that bit, how advanced are we? Because second leg is starting in July.
There has been progress. I would not say adequate progress, because as you have seen since then, we did not have serious incidents at our matches.
Yeah.
Because there's a change of attitude, that there's implications about it, which was important. Now we are going into the break, and in the break there'll be some training, there'll be some fans engagement to say what is good for them, and there will be a lot of things going around training and setting up security with sponsors and all these kind of things. This is a process. We expect by end of year to be at a place we want to be.
Okay, now we move on to Harambee Stars issues, and my greatest concern is what is the status of the cashless entrance into the stadium?
You know, when you go into leadership, Mike, especially that of a federation like ours,
yes,
you find that we were 25 years behind. 25. Since Bernard's Gold's time,
yes,
we never made proper positive steps. We had spikes of good results, but results are not a sign that you're making good progress by their own, on their own. And so when you go in there, we found that the institution needed to be fostered. So our job to have our agendas in place was first to make sure that we have an institution. And that's what we've been working on. Majorly, the job we've been doing is to make sure there's an institution.
yes,
There's a finance team. There's a competitions team. There's capacity. 24 people employed.
Yes.
Good professionals coming in from different places across the country.
Yeah.
Now, after that, we're beginning to see the processes now start to take over the work of a federation. So if you go to the federation, if you need a contract, it's available to you. If you want to offer service, you sign a contract. There are payment terms. If there is something to be bought, there's a requisition. You go through a proper approval. You know, all this kind of stuff. And one of the things that FIFA said to us when they audited us last year, it was one of the worst cases they found in Kenya. Why? Because the auditors found that there was no proof of how we spend money. So they couldn't audit the processes because they were virtually almost non-existent. Why? Our habit was to receive money and withdraw all of it, spend it immediately. Withdraw and spend it. And so they were fearing. They put a financial embargo on us. Mike, since last year March, we were on financial embargo by FIFA. What that means is that you have to be audited first,
yes,
pass the audit, after which then funding can resume. When they audited us, we failed miserably because of these issues. So they said to us, we need to see from you the intention to move on from where you've been,
yeah,
to show that. And so we're not sending you money.
to move from the 25 years.
To move from those 25 years. So one of the things we said is that this business of cash within the federation has to reduce drastically. And one of the measures we took is to say, let's go cashless at the gate. We know, I've been on your show before, Mike, and talked about entering the stadium and ticketing.
Yes.
Going cashless is big, not only for these matches. These are trials. This is trying Kenya. This is changing the attitude. This is not about earning the money. It's about having a process in place which tells us what to do for CHAN 2018 cashless ticketing. We have to start now because, as you know, the matches are few, Mike. And so we started yesterday. Fantastic, 98.2 cashless, proper done. I'll tell you that I've seen some people saying some things. I went through the journey myself. 5 seconds to collect a card and load money into it. Walk to the stadium from Safari Park into Kasarani. Of course, our major confusion. There are two areas. There's going cashless, which solves one issue.
Yeah.
Then there's the gate nightmare. The gate nightmare of people who hang around the gate, of people who will be brought in by guards or people like that on the side. That is not solved by going cashless. That will be solved by having turnstiles at the stadium. So with your card, you will tap, Mike, it will open for you in future. There won't be an individual who lets you in going forward. And so we made that journey yesterday of cashless. Tomorrow against Sudan, again, if you have a prepare card, you go with your M-Pesa, you load money on it, you will go to the stadium, you will tap again. We are making those steps. We are hoping then by Congo, because we expect Congo will have more funds than yesterday, then by Congo there's improvement. The test is done yesterday, fantastic. Tomorrow now, we do again and we make sure that we have improvement. If you have a card today, you don't need to go through the process of carding again. Load with your M-Pesa, go to the gate and make a payment. And then you can enter. For us, great success on day one. You know, in this country, whenever you introduce something new, if you remember Mishuki's rule on transport and this kind of stuff, you know what happens.
We're resistant to change.
Not resistant. It's not just here. It's probably everywhere in the world. It takes a while to entrench something new.
Yes.
We are fighting that battle. Some people oppose it. Some people are stakeholders in the menace that goes on there. So there are issues. Nonetheless, we feel that it is the right thing to do. We're going to do it because in CHAN 2018, we have told CAF we're going cashless and we're not stopping at anything to do it.
If that is the way we are going, are we likely to see this introduced, especially on our KPL matches? On the first part. And number two, if we have to introduce this, we still have the nightmare of numbering at the stadium. How do we know how many people have gone into the stadium and to actually arrange these guys properly, because our stadiums don't have numbered seats?
I'll tell you that that's the beauty of going technology. If you tap your card and enter the stadium, then I'll tell you how many people came. But that's not enough.
Yeah.
The issue of numbering the stadium is a big issue. Our stadium was built in such a way that Kasarani had seats and was numbered. But if you go to Nyayo, it's not. Kasarani has since not done very well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, for CHAN, we shall have to improve that situation. And that's why having big tournaments like CHAN is very good, because now we have 7 stadia all competing to host this, and there are certain standards they have to meet. One of which is what you're saying, that especially for VIP now, we must number the seats, we must know where you're sitting, all these kind of things. It's going to take a while because the infrastructure changing, as you know, is expensive and takes a long time. It's not only us that are the stakeholders, we have government, we have counties, we have sponsors, all these people in place. But I like hosting CHAN in Kenya because we're not just going to have benefits from the tournament. We're going to have benefits from the tournament accrued into the future for the stadium business. As you can see, Nyayo Stadium is hosting too many matches. The surface is awful. Now we need to spread these matches to Mombasa, to Kisumu, to Eldoret, to Afraha, to all these places, so that we can reduce the reliance on this stadium that we are doing, so we can take football to Kinoru Stadium in Meru and make sure the people there enjoy the game. Not only that, improve the infrastructure as required by CAF, as required by the standards. I think these are the things we're going to go into. It will take hard work, it will take time, Mike, and I can tell you that it's a big job. You come to realize that football is like a government.
Yes.
It's a government on its own. You know, Mike, we are 211 members of FIFA.
Yes.
And I can tell you that you sit there and you can see that this is actually government. And the issues we're going to go through with you today tell you that these are just some of the things that are around the game. And that there are so many things that affect people's lives in different ways.
Yeah.
And this is being one. I am happy that we can make that progress and are having a good convention with government to change the stadia, to improve them. And that we are going to host CHAN here, and it's not going anywhere. Mike, I have heard some people saying that we're not going to host CHAN.
It's a big concern, Mr. President, because as we sit,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
look at our stadia.
yes,
Mombasa, Kisumu, Machakos. I mean, as we stand,
yes.
Nyayo and Kasarani, we could say they've got some threshold of meeting the
Kasarani is qualified.
Yes, Kasarani qualified.
Yes, Nyayo is, I'd say, 70% there.
70%.
It needs changes.
Yes.
Changes will be made. Now, the situation from those two, after those two,
Yeah.
is, to say the least, not appealing.
We need 4 stadia minimum.
We need 4 venues.
4 venues.
4 venues.
Minimum. Yes.
And I can tell you that the governors are up for it. We gave our requirements to them. We have spoken to government. And I can tell you there is competition to host Cup of Nations.
What is the turnaround time?
Now this is the challenge. What we are going to have this week is we are having plans for the change stadia. We need 4 changing rooms. We need 6 offices. We need media centers that don't mix with the fans. We need VIP on its own that don't mix with the fans on their own, the players on their own. We need changes structural on those stadia. Some of them are being built now without that in mind. They are making the structural changes now. They are making the architectural changes now, which will come to us for approval, go to CAF to say this is good. 2 of them are bringing that today and tomorrow. Once we get this and send them to CAF, they are identifying contractors to start the work at county level, and I am happy that 2 of them are really showing the gusto to do this and to move with this. It's a big job. We expect that this should be over by June next year. And the guys in construction are saying it's actually something we can do. Remember, Burkina Faso did this with 2 stadiums.
Yes.
All right. So we have our options, but we want to spread and send the game to the grassroots because that's what we're made of. We want to take the game to the deepest places that's possible. We want to make sure we spread the game so that everybody joins in the game and accrues the benefits of having a Cup of Nations here. And I'll tell you that we are not going to take this line. Government has assured us and assured CAF this is going to happen. We are now working on the local organizing committee, which we hope to finalize tomorrow and the day after. It's been very hard for the ministry to do this because it's been very engaged. Once that is in place, then government and CAF, in the middle of July, the president of CAF will be here, Isaiah, to meet the president as per the commitment made, and to say that we now have to make the strides towards that. By then, we shall choose the 4 venues, and I can tell you there's already heat coming from the ground to say that we want to host this competition, and I'm happy with that.
Now, before we go into the break, I'll take you back to 1996. Kenya was in the same situation where we said this is what we are doing, where we earmarked and said we will be ready, and on the final deadline we were not ready. It was taken away from us. Now the situation right now is that we've seen how the Ministry of Sport engages. It is no secret that they've got too many bottlenecks and the processes are too slow. Even when acquiring tickets for our national teams, it is a hard process. If it is that difficult to get a ticket to fly the national team to a certain place, how easy will it be to actualize all these plans that we're talking about, and how many ministries are involved?
Since we came in, Mike, is that we have played now 3 international matches. As you know, the ladies did a fantastic job. We went away to Algeria and came back to Kenya, and all this was paid for, most of it, at least 80%, by the ministry and government. We have been agile, and we are agile to follow up with them and to work with them to make sure these things happen. So far, I'd say we've done well. I'll give us 8 over 10 working with the ministry. Like you're saying, there are processes in place. We are aware of that. We are preparing the documentation now. We have the agility and the gusto to fight and to follow up for what is required in the game. Football spends, I'm told, more than 65–70% of the budget they have, and therefore it's a big push for us because football is so big. Under 17, under 20 national team, all these ladies, it's too expensive because of team sport. Those provisions were not there before. Now we are fighting so that the game and other sports are provided for with a budget. So now within this budget, we can have a yearly budget, and we can then know that this is what the ministry will provide. We're also working with sponsors, which I'm going to discuss later on, with sponsors to make sure that we are not asking for government for everything.
Yes.
So we can have sponsors. And this is the road, the hard road that we are on today, to be appealing enough so that good corporates can come to us and say, you know what, official partner of the federation, official drink partner of the federation, this kind of things what we're working on. It's going to take another 6 months, 1 year to do this. Once they come on board, this issue then come down. Especially on CHAN, I have commitment from the highest of officers that this is going to take place. We are following up these issues, and I think that it is hard, but we cannot, as Kenya, afford not to have this event. So we have the cooperation required. There is hardship in processes that I accept, but we are happy to fight these processes every day and make sure this happens.
So you said in 2 months, that is in July, we shall have a concrete plan together with the serving committees, plus the commitment from the different county governments and the national government. By
July 15th, if all goes well and the CAF president comes here, by the time he leaves, we shall announce the 4 venues. Once we announce them, the committees now begin to work. I'll tell you, hosting such a competition is so intense. It's so intense because the travel, the hospitality, the hotels, the venues. In Rwanda, they had 12,000 volunteers. 12,000 volunteers in the competition. So it is intense. It requires a lot of work to pull in teams, to take them to places, to have four teams in every venue, to get them coordinated by CAF and ourselves, the investment in the infrastructure. I'm hearing some people talking about having an airstrip so that we can fly the teams to come in, because then it takes too long to drive in a place like Kinoru, and so this out. These improvements then have to be made. And so when you're doing a big tournament, Mike, I have gone around the world now, and I have seen that we have to up our game and do this. I think Kenya is at a point where now, with the agility we have and the fight we have and the cooperation we have with government now, this can be done. I'm more optimistic than before with the commitment we have that, Mike, this will be pulled off, not without any challenges, as we've said. We are good on infrastructure, hotels, roads, flights, that's fantastic. CAF said we don't even need to discuss.
Yes.
We have a problem with stadia. It is our biggest bottleneck, and I think it's my biggest challenge as well in this federation.
Okay, Wahiga, we take a break from the federation. We come to you.
Yes, although we're getting so much feedback, I'm just going to read them, but they'll be tackled after the break. Let's see what people are saying on 22422. Steve Maronga says, ask Mr. President whether he was happy with Stars' draw yesterday. Please, President, get a qualified coach. That's one. Mr. President, you'll note those and then tackle them after. Brandon says, Monday football, Nick has started on the wrong foot. The best way, everyone is now an expert in this, Mr. President. The best way would have been to rebrand the national team, change the name, improve contracts. Even big companies, when they perform badly, they rebrand. Okay? Let me see here. Henry Nyaberi says, so far, good work, Mr. President. Women's League has started. That's the way to go for women's football. And another one asking, Mwendwa uliwahi cheza mpira? We will see whether I can get to that. Lady Queens from Donholm, Monday football. Can Nick let us know why penalties are only given to the clubs, and yet most of this hooliganism is caused by poor officiating from the referee and the linesman? Quick two more. Someone they don't give us up. Oh, sorry, Abdi from Nairobi County is asking, did you influence the appointment of Okumbi, who we know has coached another team that you are part of? We can go on and on and on, but we'll come back to them. We were just setting the stage for what will happen after the break. But very quickly, I'm joined by Mr. Gaspar Athumani, who's helped us set a nice display hapa. Bwana Athumani, habari ya leo?
Nzuri sana.
Okay, hebu tuelezee kidogo kuhusu hii business yako.
Hii business yangu nauza viatu za watoto za kucheza mpira.
Okay, karibia mic up.
Za kucheza mpira. Sasa wakati anakuja na mzazi wake, anaweza pata kiatu, anakuuliza nitapata wapi socks?
Yes.
Namuonyesha hizi, kama kunayo naye mtoshea tunamuuzia.
Wewe upata hizi vitu wapi?
Hapa Kikomba.
So asubuhi unaamka? Tuelezee what your average day looks like kwa ufupi. Kwa ufupi tuelezee on a day to day basis, maybe unaamka saa ngapi, unafika Kikomba by saa ngapi, alafu
Kikomba huwa tunaenda kuanzia saa 12 asubuhi, nazunguka hapo sokoni kwa muda kama masaa mawili matatu. Ukiendelea kuangalia ile kitu inakupendeza. Ukishapata ile kitu inakupendeza,
ni gani inakupendeza kama wewe sasa?
Sasa kwa mfano unapoenda unategemea na size. Unaenda kwa mfano hizi hapa ni size ndogo ndogo kuanzia number 2, number 1, number 3. Sasa unachagua hivyo ili mteja anapokuja unamuonyesha. Sasa nakuuliza unataka size ngapi?
Yes.
Anakuambia nataka 3.
Ni size gani watu upenda sana, in fact? Sana wewe uza size.
Sikuja na zote.
Okay. Of course. Hapa Michael Kinya ametafuta size yake amekosa.
Sasa tatizo niliambiwa njoo na sababu
usiogope. Hiyo tunajua nani alikwambia hivyo. Next time najua utaleta zingine. But sana size 4 ama size 5 ndio zinaenda.
Sana viatu kuanzia size 12. Kwenda number 13, number 1, 1.5,
1.5 pia
ipo
iko na market. Na hapa naona uko na different brands. I think nimeona Nike, naona Adidas, Mercurial,
Hypervenom.
Ni gani sasa pia iko na market sana?
Kwa sasa hivi ni hizi.
Hebu tuonyeshe wateja huko home waone hizi sasa.
Sasa hizi ni Hypervenom.
Wow, this looks like a good. Hebu nitolee kamoja. Awa na uchunge hii frame yetu isianguke. Pole hapo. Kuja na hizo tatu and then endelea kutumia mic. So unasema hizi ndio ziko na soko hizi.
Hizo sasa ndio zinapendeza watoto.
And I notice some have different. Kwa mfano hii ya kwanza hata haina, let me try and switch it around so that you can get that. Hata haina zile stud tumezoea. This has, and I know Mike ndio ni expert wa viatu hapa. This has more of a grooves.
Hiyo sasa ni trainer.
Hii ni trainer sasa. Alafu hizi sasa ndio za game.
Ndio kuchezea mpira sasa.
Wow. Na hizi unaweza niuzia ngapi? Let's say nataka pair moja ya hii. Because you're saying this is the best you have in your store. Some of the best. 2500. Na bei ya kuongea?
Bei ya kuongea hapo average yake mwisho anaweza kuuzia 2-3.
Haiwezi fika tu
itakuwa meni.
Sasa kwa sababu unaniuzia na bei kali sana 2-3. Nitajuaje hizi ni original?
Hizi ni mtumba si mpya.
Naomba utumie. Hapo ndio watu wanataka kusikia sasa how to know which is real na gani fake.
Hizi za mtumba ni nzuri. Kwa ajili ni kitu ishatumika na ule mtu hakuitumia sana. Sasa unapoenda kule sokoni uchagui ile kitu imeisha sana. Unachagua ile kitu at least mtu alitumia muda mfupi.
Yes.
Sasa ukija unikikuuzike kiatu mwishowe utakuta mtoto amekitumia muda mrefu.
So ni kitu inakupea value.
Itakupa muda. Kitambo tena labda iwe ndogo ndio urudi hapa. Huyu unaambia kile kiatu labda kimekuwa kidogo nitafutie kingine.
But in terms of originality, kuna mark fulani, kuna kitu unaweza angalia kwa hiki kiatu niseme this is a real genuine Nike versus a fake one. Ama wewe advise customers wako vipi? Mtu akianza kusema hii ni fake.
Ni kulingana na vile tunanunua hizi vitu.
Tumia mic tafadhali.
Kulingana vile tunazinunua.
Yes.
Ni ile unakuta unaenda sokoni, kuna unajua wanapofungua hizi vitu zinatoka vitu nyingi. Sasa vile mimi nilichagua niuze viatu, nikaona wacha nianze kuuza za vijana za football. Sasa unapopata hii ama mtoto, kwanza mteja mwenyewe ndo anakuambia nataka kiatu fulani. Na kile kiatu unakuta ndio
sasa hivi.
Sasa kiko kwenye market.
Na socks pia maybe kuna criteria nafaa kuangalia nikitaka kuchukua socks ama any socks are fine.
Ninategemea ile kala napenda. Ndio maana niko na kala tofauti. Unaona Sasa ni akija akipenda hii kala unamuuzia na maybe ana match na boot kama hii. Ana match na ama ile jezi yako nayo inakuwa imematch.
Hizi unauzia. So hapa umeniambia 2-3.
Yeah.
Na socks?
Socks ni 300.
Nia?
300. 300.
Second hand ama new?
Second hand.
300.
Ai. Ujamaa kuna boutique.
So total ni 26. Ya kuongea sasa.
Ya kuongea kwa mfano socks sasa nishakwambia ile bei. Sio ya kupunguza wala ya kuongeza.
So hii ni fixed price. Hapa ndio umepunguza from 25 to 23.
Yeah.
Buda suna nigonga.
Hapo hata
on TV national mbele ya RKF president Nick Mwendwa.
Trend vizuri ajue kwamba hizi vitu ama wale wazazi wananunulia watoto hizi vitu wasione.
Unajua hapo pia.
Waiga. Mr. President has something to say.
When you are running an academy,
yes,
every year you will spend that 3 times on a kid. So utanunua socks hiyo ya 300 na 2-3. So 2600 mara ngapi on this growing kid?
Yes.
Now if you have 30 or 50 kids, do your math for just getting them kitted. Uniform itakuwa labda 800.
Na next week tutaleta msewa uniform hapa.
Na uniform itakuwa labda 800. Kwa hivyo ukifanya hesabu unaanza kuona cost ya kuran academy ndogo.
Yes, ya watu
from a player perspective. Sisi kile tunafanya sasa, kwa sababu tunaenda kwa mambo ya watoto nitaongelelea, ni tunataka biashara yake itainuka, kwa sababu sasa tunafocus sana na watoto na hizo academies na hizo centers, na tutakuwa na youth league ile nitaongelelea. Hiyo youth league sasa watakwenda kwake kununua.
So
ndio Kenya tupate ranking, tupate rank ya how much you're supposed to be paid when you nurture a player for a year. Kulingana na ile pesa umeinvest, unafaa kulipo pesa ngapi? Kenya hatuna classification kwa sababu FIFA haijui tuna spend pesa ngapi kuchukua mtoto wa under 13 kumfikisha under 15, na hiyo cost iko involved na hii biashara yake.
Bwana President, hizo ndio vitu tutaguzia after the break. Gaspar, asante sana. We'll continue looking at this even on the second part of the show, but for now we take a quick break. Keep talking to us. The hashtag is Monday Football. We'll be back with much more talking about football and boots and socks. See you after the break. Welcome back to Monday Football. This is the second part of the show. You just saw how the first part was. and just keep it with us until the end of the show. Talk to us on our platforms. The hashtag is Monday Football on social media. You can also text us on 22422. We'll try and give as much feedback as we can to the FKF president, who we shall, Mike shall continue engaging with him in just a bit. But for now, I'm joined by DJ Talanta. DJ, tupe cassette ka maybe 10 seconds, if just something short, unaweza tufanyia tujibambe kidogo. He seems to really enjoy his reggae. Sijui kama Mr. Mwendo, since amekataa tumuite president, has a special reggae song that he likes. Unaweza mchezea kidogo?
Reggae nilisahau most of it. Anaweza nichukulia something ile napenda.
Something unapenda? Utampia request, tutaicheza at the end of the show.
Okay.
But naona sasa anachezea ki Chant Down Babylon. Sijaelewa hii ngoma, msikia tu kina Patrick Kigunza na wanati fulani wakiimba Chant Babylon wakati kuna challenges kwa news. Hiyo ni story nyingine, that's a story for another day. DJ Talanta, hii talent ulianza ukiwa mtoi ama ni kitu umechukua tu juzi?
Nilianza nikiwa mtoi. Nimeanza reggae seme 98 hapo. Kuna club ilikuwa inaitwa Hollywood.
Hapo mimi nilikuwa mtoi.
Olimbao.
Pale Ngara. Kuna mtu anajua?
Na nilianza juu ya kuna MC alikuwa ametoka mtaa wetu. Alikuwa anaitwa Daddy Stitches. Yeye ndiye alini kuanza kuendaga. Kuna mwili ndogo lakini ilikuwa nishaanzani tu raha mapema.
And you've been doing it ever since. Apart from reggae, maybe kuna style nyingine ya ngoma unapenda?
Mimi upenda lakini roots ndio iko kwa damu. Roots ndio iko kwa damu. Hiyo ndio ngoma mimi wanacheza. By the way mimi ucheza kwa maclub, nilikuwa Ghetto Radio lakini nikakuja nikastopisha tu job. Lakini yote nasema lazima nipitie ndio nikamkupenya.
Sasa siku hizi wewe ufanya ni bwana freelance DJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mimi ucheza kwa maclub. Club moja mimi ucheza iko Kangundo Road inaitwa Dajoski. Na nyingine mimi ucheza Taj Mall. Na nilikujanga kupoteza mkono siku ya post election violence. 28 nilikuwa nimetoka Kisumu nikiwa 27 nilikuwa Kisumu kicheza kuna cheza na 88. Hizi zimekaa mjuzi. Kuna mashini ilikuwa inajiita 88. Hiyo ndio nilikuwa nacheza nayo. After voting ya hiyo time ya Kibaki nilikuwa huko kwa Johnny Tumwe, ilikuwa ni mado. Lakini God akanipenyesha nikafika Nairobi poa. 28 January ndio nikampoteza mkono yangu hapo Mathare 3C. Hapo ndio nimezaliwa na nimegrow hapo.
Na ilikuwa tu hizo challenges bado za post election.
Na post election.
Adjustment process imekuwa vipi sasa?
Process imekuwa hard. By the way nilikuwa after kutulia kabla nikamkupona vipoa. Nilikuwa na shindo life itaendeleaje. Lakini God akakuja akanipenyesha nikapata job Ghetto Radio.
Okay.
2 years. Tena life tena
but bado una survive vipoa. How ime affect aje sasa style yako ya ku DJ because whereas previously maybe unaweza kutumia decks zote mbili. How have you adjusted sasa in terms of your mixing so that maybe mafans wale wako kwa dance floor hata hawajui uko na challenge? Wao wanasikia tu ngoma wanabambika.
Kweli.
So technique yako hapa sasa imekuaje?
Hapa imekuwa poa na by the way wanacheza hivyo kwa watu wa kutaka kuniona hizo reggae za club. Unajua kuna wengi usikia tu DJ Talanta wanashindwa jamaa uchezaje na hiyo mashine. Juu hata sasa hiyo nikikwambia ucheze nayo na mikono mbili utapata challenge. Ama nikwambie tu weka hii moja nyuma cheza na moja.
Ni ngumu.
Selector wengi wanashindwa lakini mimi sema God amenipatia hiyo kipawa. Na labda hii ndio uwe na lea familia yangu. Na watu wawili pia na mzazi wangu mimi ndio wanategemea.
Hebu tuonyeshe sasa cassette kadogo hapa DJ Talanta one hand. Tuone vile hii kitu ufanywa.
Hapo sawa.
Nimeona challenge sana kwa DJ wengi hapa because what you've been able to do many are not able to do, so just on behalf of Monday Football I think congratulations. Tuonyeshe kitu hapa before tuendelee na mambo za
tuko nasikiza ngoma moja Police in Helicopter.
Mimi sijui nimezaliwa wapi. Hizi ngoma si ati najua zote but najifunza.
Lakini unajua
pole tu. Sasa chapa kakitu hapo.
can tell you in studio, as the music is going on, I've never seen the cameraman indulge in the music. Leo naona kina Mose, it's called a nod your head session. It's going on well. Well, we want to tackle something that is very, very, very important to the Federation, because we said 100 days. There were promises that were made. There's a roadmap that was put in place. Mr. President, how far are we in terms of, in 105 days exactly, what have you been able to achieve?
First thing was set up. There was almost nothing set up. Good team in place, 24 people employed in place, competition, finance, communication, which you had a lot of say about, man.
Yes, communication, there I can tell you, good stuff. Bari hata ametoroka hapa pia ameenda hapi, he's doing a good job on that.
So, team in place, 1, 2 processes. How do we organize a match? Who does what are the processes documented? That in place. How do we requisition for money? Committees. Different committees, competitions, match organizing, finance, all that in place with the National Executive Council. All that in place so that now we can pave way for the work. What about the work? FIFA had an embargo, a financial embargo on us. But it's important to look at the background, Mike. We inherited a debt of 180 million shillings. I've said this enough times. And with that, FIFA had no trust with us. I said that. So they came in and said, show us how you're going to run this federation. We've succeeded in doing so, and I can tell you that through hard audit questions, the FIFA Audit Committee before Mexico lifted our financial embargo. That is the biggest achievement we achieved, because it means that now our grant, which was 25 million shillings for the period before, per year, and which now with Gianni Infantino and all these beautiful things we did in Mexico has gone up to 125 million Kenya shillings, means that will start coming now. Alright? I can tell you things were so bad that when you're sent $20,000, you have to demonstrate proof that you paid Mike and you paid the DJ and everybody. Proof. So you send the money to the supplier or to the individual, and they have to sign a declaration somewhere that you have paid them, and you have to send that declaration to FIFA. We've been going through that pain because our history, they were fearing that we might be the same kind of people given money. It's a problem. Now they've given the all go and a tight leash. We are on a very short leash. They are auditing us every month, and they are sending money in droves, in very small droves, so we can start now going up. The gold project is now up. It was vandalized, as you know. There was no transformer, there was no water, there was no these things. That has been done. In another 2 weeks, we are going in the gold project. It was a condition by FIFA, we must go in. We are now have a team in place and start receiving funding now for grassroots projects. So what are we doing next? On 1st of July, for the first time ever, the 84 sub-branches of the federation are starting under 13 and under 15 leagues. What that means now is that the lack of talent we have now, we have begun to deal with it and to attack it. Because now from 1st of July, every sub-branch will have its own 2 leagues. Now what will happen as the sub-branch will play, we will have a select under 13 and select under 15 team. At the branch, they will play again. We'll select for the branch, the 20 branches, and at regional level, then at national level. At the end of the year, we'll have a select under 13 and a select under 15 mic for the country, which is where we'll begin to pick the under 17s. Now, just to move further, is that for selection purposes, our focus is on the years under. Because as you know, we have challenges going up. And those challenges are legacy. We will not have a lot of say in them. We can only guide the ship now to go somewhere. But for under 17, 15s and 13s, we can shape the game, and I've been saying this for a long time. So we have now identified scouts that are going to work with the coaches in under 17, selecting the best players for the upcoming qualifications to Madagascar for under 17. They will select the best players in the branch, working with the branch hand in hand to select the best players in a grassroots kind of way, where you bring the boys together, they play, and then you select the best. Then you put them in the national team, you select the best 30, 40 players who then train over a period of time to get the best. We have not been doing that. In a few days, we're going to release the new bench for under 17, which is a continuity of the work we've been doing under 20. As you know, under 20, now we have a good team. We had an issue with that, but we have a good team now in place. Some of the kids in that under 20 that were there last week when Sudan didn't show up will be definitely now, the way I see it, in the under 17 team. And so we are making that progression. So we have players in under 20 in the emerging stars, players in under 17 in under 20. So we begin to have a stream of players that we know and that we grow. The other thing is that beginning this June, Mike, all player registration, all of them nationally from under 13 will be done centrally in the competitions department. We've never done that. It now means that if there's a query about a player, we don't need to refer anywhere. And that will start this June. It's a 2-year process. So that now in 2019, if you ask me about a certain player, I will go to the federation and I can give you all the details from when we got the details from.
And this means even the players playing in our top league now,
even in KPL, this break, they won't do transfers, they won't do registration. All transfer registration will be done at the federation.
TMS will work.
TMS has been working. Now it will even work better because we have PRS, which is where the local system where we register them. Yes. We have TMS, which is the FIFA system where we do transfers. All this is done in under one roof for all leagues, from KPL all through down. As you know, we have 4 tiers now. All leagues are on. And Mike, the women's league finally
is on.
And you know, I met the president at State House and said the one thing the girls asked for is we don't have a league. That league is now underway. 14 teams are there and it's being played. Division 1 will start in a short while. These are the games, as you know, about our AFCON ladies and the ladies and the job they did for us to qualify to Algeria. It's a big thing for us. And they're going to Spain in the end of this month to participate in a preparation tournament in Valencia. They're going there to participate. They come back, they play 3 or 4 friendlies before Yaoundé, and so that plan is underway. Again, working with government. I said you have to push your things, you have to follow up, and this is what we're doing with them to make sure we get these things done. So these are some of the things that we have put in place. There is a lot of things that are going on, people coming requesting. We are now partnering with third parties, even MISA now. We're going to work with them in certain things. This issue of them working on their own is not going to be there. Coaching and these prerogatives that are for us. Training of referees. We now have a budget for it. KPL no longer have to do it. It's our job, we'll get it done. We have a budget for technical development as well. Grassroots football will be, this under 13 will be festival. And there will be small-sided games for the kids. Because we haven't got to a point where we need to expand. We're developing the technique. So the under 13s will play in a small court slightly bigger than this. And they will harness their technique there before we move them to under 15 to 11 aside. And so these are the things that we already put in place. I think that the partnerships are beginning to show. And maybe just to say is that we're talking about a technical director. We finally, Mike, have a sponsor. For our technical director.
Only the technical director?
Only the technical. He is so important such that we've had to go out there, and luckily through some of the sponsors will announce is that we have found a sponsor to sponsor our technical director. I am in negotiation with a certain federation in Europe so that they can pass on to us their technical director whose contract coming to an end. This country has done so well, and I'm hoping that we can close it and get it done. We went to the Germans and we couldn't afford it. We didn't have a sponsor. Now we're going to have a technical director very soon. And some of these questions you're receiving about the national team, all of this will start being solved from bottom, going up. And I have been saying this, Mike, that I'm not a believer in solving from up down.
It's from down going up.
It's from down up because it's long term.
Now the system that we have. Questions like, I'm just going through the most common questions that we have. There's a question that has been asked that under 17, you advertised for the coach. National team, it was not advertised. CEO, you didn't advertise for the job. Communications manager, you advertised for the job. And there's been no noise about that. What are the systems?
Why are the discrepancies?
What are the systems?
I'll tell you this. And Mike, you've been in the game for years. You're one of the guys I know has been in the game for years. When Manchester United was recruiting Mourinho, there was no shortlist. There was a CEO who went out there, had the mandate of the board, and picked a coach. Normally in coaching, that's how it's done. Sometimes, I know even locally, there are some clubs who shortlist and do interviews. All right? I certainly know some of them. I know many of them go out there and pick. All right? And so, depending on the situation, then we'll ask ourselves, who is the best coach for this scenario? The national team then is the next responsibility, and more so my responsibility to go out there and pick. All right? We have, and I've said this before a number of times, Mike, and I've gone through this a number of times. Different people have different opinions. We shall continue to evolve, Mike. But the thinking is this: we must develop 20, 30, 40 coaches of high caliber, from which pool we can pick the national team. I am still a believer, Mike, that the Kenyan job is for Kenyans. We might not be absolutely there now,
yes,
but we need to train. I am in negotiations with some guys in Europe so that we can set up UEFA training here for coaches. So as they play their league matches, they can go and they can train. We can have UEFA Bs, UEFA S, UEFA Pros. By the time it's 4 or 5 years, that way we have a group of 40. When we inherited this, that was not the case.
Yeah.
We have a group of 9, 6 coaches that you can pick from. And so depending on what your theory is for how you want the game to be played, then you pick. And that's what we did.
Are we going
that is on Harambee Stars.
Yes.
Now, I know there are questions about, are we going to continue? Some people really prefer that we have someone from outside. Some people, different opinions are there. I'd say that we have not ruled it out completely. But we still believe that we cannot build from the top. Now we have brought friendlies. Yesterday you saw a different picture of the national team from what was under pressure against Guinea-Bissau. Tomorrow I believe, and watch out, Mike, because you'll be seeing something different, I believe. So these are kids coming through, and they need to come through. Then there are a set of players. We have had 56 players in this camp. Why are we doing this, Mike? Is to start identifying ourselves, having our own identity. We don't have that. The process of creating that identity will take a while.
Yeah.
A technical director is coming in place to encourage us, to show us the ways of doing so.
When do you expect this technical director?
We have given ourselves June. We were hoping by now should be there. Now that we have the budget issue solved, the news is on my neck to make sure that I get into the Euros and come out with a
Do we have a budget for the Harambee Stars? Because Harambee Stars is one dicey affair. If you look behind you, we've got Joma, all colors, as in home, away, and neutral, I believe, of Joma. This is supposed to be Harambee Stars.
Yes.
I have seen Harambee Stars in the previous campaign play under, what is it called? Leave alone what we have now.
Adidas.
We've played under different kits.
Yes.
We understand there are contractual issues with different partners, but yet we've picked a different kit to play with.
Yes.
2 questions on that.
Yes.
How long will this one last? Is it clean? Do we have lawsuits like every other place that we have lawsuits? And number 2, you promised that once the national team gets a proper kit that they have now, replicas will be available.
Correct.
We are still waiting.
Now, let me give you a quick history on this. Harambee Stars kitting has been like an Achilles heel. Why? Different contracts at different times signed at that time when we were not here. So we come into office and we are looking. And when we look closely, the situation is fluid because there is no proper actual contract in place. And so now we begin to engage and get quite a number of people, including our friends.
Yes.
And before you realize you have Guinea-Bissau, and yet you don't have a contract. So what do? You go off the shelf and you buy. We bought Alsport. Let's have good kit, nice looking Harambee Stars, decent. Now that has been done. What we've been doing is negotiating, and it's dicey. When you are below ranking 100, getting a sponsor for kit is tricky. Some countries like Tanzania decided we don't want any brand. They went off, they made their own, they have. For us, we still think we can find a brand that can work with us. We'll give ourselves the month of June. If we don't come through with it, then we have another. But I can tell you we're at advanced level with some of the guys, including these guys, and I'm hoping that the Secretariat will expedite this and finish it. After that now, Mike, you're going to have your replica in the shop. You're going to go and get it. We are hoping then at that time, as you know with Kenyans, performance needs to come up for them to be encouraged to go and get a replica so they can come for the game. We are building this in that way. It's going to take a while, I think 3-4 months. Issue of replica is a big thing because different contracts in place. We're going to sign a new one for 4 years to pack our issue. We tried to go quickly and found that it was dicey because some people were claiming Yes. So we went slowly. Now there's nothing holding our legs. So we're gonna go and we're gonna sign up again.
On that, as we wind up, on the same note of the replicas, if you look at our rugby team, they've had an almost similar design. They're like, if you pick the Arsenal kit of 1900 and now, it is the same red with white sleeves, but different design. Our rugby team has been consistent in what they wear. Almost similar to athletics. Do we have a house style that Harambee Stars would follow suit?
We have an intention to redesign this. Or I came to the table and said to the guys who are coming on board, we want to redesign this, because if you remember, I tweeted some time back and said I really liked the idea of what the rugby guys done. And actually we had a discussion with their guys who are doing this. They are one of the people we're discussing this with. So we can make sure we align with the country. But it is the nation that has to tell us, these are the colors, these are the themes, this is the template. It's a process. I'll tell you for sure that it's my aspiration that we look the same whichever spot that we go out in, and we're going to try to comply with it. It can't be exactly the same, but I think by 2017 sometime the new design that shall come up then should be in compliance with all these things that we are.
My final question. In your manifesto you talked about you have to bring in fans must come back to the stadium even for the lowest games and up to including the Harambee Stars matches. You go to the so-called games Mtaa, we've got a lot of fans there. We come into some matches in the Super League, we've got fans. But when you come to some matches in our top league, KPL, no fans at all. Our attendance for the national team is not encouraging. How do we pull fans? What is your strategic plan to ensure that fans go back to the stadium?
It's a double-edged sword. First, we need to get rid of this hooliganism story, which we discussed earlier. We made efforts, we'll continue making efforts in adequate security, proper adequate security, 1. 2, change of attitude for what we are doing and continue preaching it so we can bring them back. But important is performance. Alright? Performance of the team has to come. Now, as you can see, it's a roadmap. 2 draws, two losses, 1 draw today. Can we move on from here and keep improving, even if it's not at a fast rate? If you do that with most Kenyans, if the team is winning, then you see more people coming to the field. But as for KPL, is to get rid of this cloud that we have, that we are fighting with KPL, that the fans are doing funny things and we're letting them go, that you can't go with your daughter to a game. If we can overcome this, and I think by end of this year, we'll have enough to do so, then I think then, Mike, we continue to go. It's a journey. I am hoping by 2029 that just as other things, that our young kids, those under 20 boys you saw there, that our under 17 will be coming through for that journey to 2022. I am hoping for Chan, then we ignite this road to Chan 2018, which brings the fans to their stadium in Mombasa, in these places, in Kisumu and everywhere, so we can build on that culture of coming. It's a process. It's a journey, Mike. We have to walk it. It's a hard journey. It's got its pitfalls. It's tough. You have stones being thrown on the road, and you have to stop the car and get them off the road and clean it up again and go. Nonetheless, it's worth the fight that we have in it, the passion that we bring to the game, to grow the game, as you said in Team Change, let's do this. You said, game ni mimi, game ni wewe, to aspire to go there. I tell you, Mike, that there are certain things that even I am not happy with today. I tell you the challenges we faced, you know, the under 20 story that came. I keep hearing Kenyans questioning our technical bench, and we want to show that we can do better than this. We want to show it's the people's team. We can lead it, we can do better with it, we can take criticism like I've seen today on what we have. We can take the lessons, we can do better than we've done before. But I want to assure you that as now we increase the funding, which is $500 million a year, by the way, 125 from FIFA is going to come in, and we're improving the goal project. We're going to have a turf pitch there so that our under 17 and our 20 can be housed by ourselves. Lower the cost for doing that, even for the senior team. And now we proceed from there with having big projects, having playing parks, bringing 10 AstroTurf pitches across the country so we can play. Going to the grassroots, we now Aspire has come to us this morning, and we are partnering with them as well, and many other programs. I met with some guys from Italy who want to ship kit and equipment for the team that have played already to bring to Kenya, and now we're sending an MOU with them to do this. Many programs coming in. I'm meeting tomorrow the Barefoot program for Kakuma, where they're giving boots to kids who are disadvantaged to do this. And finally, Mike, which is important, that we have 21,000 schools. And starting next year, or later in September, we are going to start developing a curriculum for football in school
together with
we're
the
going to
Schools
have-
Association?
Yes. And we're going to have one curriculum for all of them. And these coaches for schools, we're going to take them, bring them together, and start training them starting later this year. So that the education they give starts to be uniform. I have found, hopefully,
Will this be, sorry to cut you short, will this be the coaches or the teachers? Must they be
the
teachers?
teachers
Okay.
that stay with them every day
Yeah.
to be equipped with the knowledge required to handle a kid. So
Okay.
that's been a problem for us. That's our biggest issue at the grassroots. So the teachers do so, and then we're going to have an elite league for schools. And our sponsors actually said, I want to go with this. So next year, the Upper Hills, the Pasenga, these guys will be in one league, home and away, except in second term. So they play in first term, in a league, and in third term. A proper league, which then we can begin to select from. They are big programs, because the only cure for our game to get results, and I've said it 1,000 times, is actually to boost our talent pool from the younger ages, from 13, from 15. Unfortunately, as I keep saying, Mike, it's a long road. We need support. We've got support from a couple of people, as you've seen. It's not adequate so far, but I am thinking that as we improve and take this, we can get this done, Mike, and we can improve and are more charged than before to ask partners to help us to get to the finish line.
I'm sure when our director Robert has recorded this show, and all those talking points, we will note them down. We wait for that time when he said, this is the checklist, Mr. President. We said league for schools, we say technical director, we said stadiums to be identified. We will come back.
You're fond of this, Mike, and if I get an 80%, I'm always happy. There will always be a 20% that's a challenge because of the system, but I think if you get to 80% on these things, I'm happy to come back here every quarter and give you an update about this.
Good stuff. Waiga Bora.
Thank you so much, Mike. Of course, very eye-opening, lots and lots of deadlines that he has given us for things to be sorted, and we'll wait to see the implementation and, of course, the way forward after that. Even as we wind up the show, we want to give Gaspar a chance to let us know where we can get some of these products. Gaspar, kama nataka bizi ndula ama socks hivi, auzi jerseys lakini.
Jerseys
Okay.
Sana na viatu.
Yes.
Na soksi.
Okay.
Za wakubwa kwa wadogo.
Za wakubwa ziko pia.
Zipo pia.
So Michael Kinyi zile alikuwa anataka atazipata kwako.
Niko atazipata.
Atazipata. Sasa nitazipata wapi? Where can I find if I want to pick some of your products?
Mimi napatikana hapa soko ya Adams.
Unajua Wakenya hupenda kusema hapa. Unajua leo tuko kwa studio. Sasa nikiwa Kakamega hapa ni
so hapo mimi napatikana hii soko ya Jamhuri. Unaona Jamhuri market?
Toy market. Toy.
Napatikana kwa hiyo soko.
Okay. So mtu akitaka hivi akuja hapo
stall 87.
Stall number 87. Asante sana. We've gotten that. Thank you so much. Tumeshukuru. Hopefully pia mimi nitachukua sneaker hapa siku moja. Wacha tuongee na DJ hapa kidogo. If you'll be able to follow me the camera as well. The DJ told me that he has a special set that he wants to scratch and mix even as we wind up as well. For the DJ, asante sana. Wewe ni shabiki wa timu gani, DJ?
Mimi wa Manchester.
Wewe ni mtu wa Manchester? Manchester hii ya leo ama ya Sir Alex Ferguson? Ndio Manchester siku hizi ni kazi kwa
ni ya leo.
Ya Moyes, ya Van Gaal, ya Mourinho ama ya Ferguson? Ya Mourinho. So unamwamini?
Kweli.
Zaidi? Okay. Thank you so much. That's all the time we had, unfortunately, on Monday Football. Mike, I believe it's time to wind up. Ndong was not able to join us today, but he should be part of the show next week. Keep talking to us on our platforms. Even after the show, we'll hand over all your feedback to FKF President as well, and of course to all our other guests in case you had a question for them that was not tackled on the show, and they will respond to you on their own forums. Thank you so much for watching. Catch us next week, same time, same place on Monday Football. Kwaheri.